Hi guys, welcome back to the Redeem podcast where we bring Christ into everyday conversations.
I'm Janisha.
I'm Chipo.
I'm Nyari.
And I'm Lavon.
And today we're going to be talking about our New Year's resolutions and also going to be reflecting a bit on the year. I feel like this is a really good episode because this is going to be our season finale. So this is going to be a nice way for us to round it up. We started the season at the beginning of the year and now we're finishing on a grand number of 7 episodes. Wow.
The number of completion.
Perfection.
Wow.
Honestly,
So
Guys,
grand.
listen.
Oh, wow.
The Lord
Who
knows.
has the final say?
It's Jesus, man. Jehovah has the
Has the
final say. Yes, hallelujah.
Lovely.
Hallelujah.
So we're gonna kick off with a question.
Tanisha, we sounded like such church aunties. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Come
Bring out
on.
your blanket. You know, I saw a TikTok the other day, yeah, of like, you know, when you have the aunties that come and they speak for like a conference, yeah, your pencil skirt is down to your ankles. Why do you also have a blanket to cover your legs and listen?
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
I honestly didn't know what I used to think it was, but I was just like, I wonder why they're doing this.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
thought they were
modesty
catching the
times.
spirit, or at
Maybe
first I thought
it's-
they were like catching the spirit or something. The mom was
I
just
think
like,
it's
oh no, they need to cover their
preparation.
legs.
But
That's
wow,
it.
I used to think it was preparation for like if someone was caught in the spirit, then they would
Yeah.
cover them with the blanket.
That's what I thought,
But then
your
I
skirt
would
is
see
long.
some of them just keeping it, and I'm like,
Literally.
okay.
Maybe it's for
Like
other
in the
people.
service.
Maybe they're like, I'm
Maybe
covered,
they're
but I don't know.
preparing for other people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true, you know. It'd be them. It'd be them.
Be
That
them.
when you're doing like the altar call with them, they'll be the ones that are hugging you, and then suddenly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're on the ground. I'm sorry. We're already segueing before we get to the topic, right?
right.
When you
Well,
said
What,
there
Daddy?
was a preacher come to your church who was trying to push you.
oh, mate.
What is it?
What?
Gary, you need to speak more clearly.
Oh, sorry.
Because all we can hear is
Yeah, because you're
Pushing.
moving from the mic.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
so we can't hear you.
So basically, the one you can probably tell the story in it. The one
Do you know
where
what it
like
is? I don't remember it in as much detail as you do, but I do know that there is a time that I was in a church service
She said, I didn't even remember it that bad.
and someone was trying to like push me to like fall and die in the spirit, yeah. And I was like, but I'm not falling in the spirit. Like you can pray for me, but don't try and force me to fall.
I feel like
and
it
I
happens
remember-
a lot.
The thing is, he actually physically pushed me to fall, but then
Did
I
you
just sat
fall?
up.
Good.
Yeah, I fell because I was pushed. I didn't. fall.
That's bad.
So I just got up, and I remember I literally went to my boyfriend the next day, and I was like, not even the next day, that same day, and I said, you know that pastor pushed me, right?
That was not real.
And then he was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? But yeah, this is the thing. Like, if you try and force me to fall, yeah, like I'll obviously let you just take your force in that. But I'm gonna get up. Like, I'm not gonna pretend to stay on the floor because that's suspicious.
It happened
That's
to me once,
weird.
and I had to like plant my feet in the ground and like
like headbutt them.
I had to like
Just
make sure. I
fighting
was
each other at that
like, no,
point.
don't do me. No, if it's not genuine. I was like, you know, you have to like put your force
You
on
know
them.
when kids
Yeah.
when kids are trying to assert their dominance that they don't have.
Like, move
So make
away.
me angry.
Oh, that's so funny. Right. Anyways,
Yeah.
We don't.
the
stand,
first
we don't stand.
question is coming into 2022. We're going to start off with our reflections.
Yeah.
How were you coming into 2022? So, like emotionally, spiritually, like how are you coming into 2022, and how did that impact the way that you were viewing 2022?
It's me. I am the okay.
I'm the problem. It's me. Auntie. Sorry.
Oh.
Guys, Janisha refuses to believe it. Everybody agrees. And that's the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
shame.
What did you
Janisha's
think
like-
it was, Jan?
I was just like, I don't know.
You just said it
Pastor, and
doesn't
I'm
make
said
sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And I agree with her.
At
I
tea
kind of
time,
get
everybody agrees.
Yeah, I don't know why tea time, but
She just needed to rhyme.
They don't
listen.
even have tea time in America.
yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
Unless if tea time
not
was like, you
dinner
know, when
time?
like gossip, like
Oh, like tea,
gossip
spilling the tea.
outlets and they spill the tea. So at tea time, because you know
Every-
she's like a
yeah.
lyrical whiz, so I can't imagine that being like an unintentional. She
Maybe
just did
she
it
had
to
an off
rhyme.
day.
Maybe she had an off
Yeah.
day.
You know,
Maybe she-
Yeah,
to be
like-
fair, she is a lyrical whiz, and sometimes we actually don't get it. Like, there's that one
Yeah.
lyric where she's talking about why everyone's a sexy baby or something like that.
Whoa.
And I was like, what does that mean? Apparently, it has some real, like, deep meaning.
I hope it does, because
Yeah, it was apparently some
because that might be
reference
a
to.
problem.
Yeah, I was like, this is giving creepy, guys. Why is no one finding
Yeah.
it creepy? And
But
they're like,
yeah,
oh,
this
you
is
know,
what
the
she
Swifties.
meant.
Yeah, the Swifties.
I
That
I
live
think
at our house.
you know those people that are like so smart that sometimes their smartness is above everyone's capacity to understand. Sometimes, not to say like she's smarter than everyone, but you know, sometimes like people
you don't
that
get the
write,
reference.
you don't
Mhm.
always get
Yeah.
it, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
in their
especially if
head.
it's a very niche
Yeah.
reference
she's
as
an-
well. It's
and
gonna
it's
be
not
hard for
it's not
everyone else
our
to-
we're not Swifties, so we probably
We're
miss
not
the
them,
Easter
yeah.
eggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Jan. Sorry.
What was your
The
question
segue.
again?
My question. My
Such a
question.
quiet cough. Oh, you
No, she
muted
went
yourself.
on mute.
I went on mute,
Yeah,
mate.
I was
Literally
thinking,
went
I
on
have never
mute.
heard such a silent cough.
It's elegant.
What's going on?
It's so
Um,
elegant.
So the question was,
Sorry.
how were you coming into 2022, and how did that
Mm.
affect like how you were viewing 2022? So like in terms of any goals that you had, or just generally your disposition, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Okay. I think for me, I had to look back in my, what's it called? My journal.
Diary.
Oh,
My
Oh.
diary. I had to
looking
look
back in your
my
journal.
So I feel like, oh my gosh, what did I actually want in 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember saying a lot, like in 2021, I felt I'm trying to articulate as well as I can, because it makes sense to me,
Mhm.
but I feel like it's hard when other people hear it.
Mm.
I felt like a leaf blowing in the
Mm.
wind.
Mm.
I wasn't like grounded. I felt very out of control, if that makes sense.
Mhm, mhm.
And so for me, 2022 was about gaining some sort of control over like my reactions to things, over the way that I processed events in my life,
Mm.
over my education. That's what 2022 was about for me.
Mhm.
Over like my finances. Yes, that's what I came into 22 with. I wanted control.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very good.
Miss Chippo.
It's me.
Sadly, mine isn't as profound as Denisha's, but this year just doesn't feel real, guys. It just
It
feels like
doesn't.
Yeah, it
It's a
doesn't.
blip. It's like a blip, honestly.
Honestly.
I saw this thing the other day that said 2018 was 4 years ago and not 2 years ago. And I realized that I also thought that
That's
2018 was
crazy.
2 years ago.
Yeah, when you say it, it's like, oh wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But it's the COVID
And,
2 years. The COVID
yeah.
2 years are a blur.
And they did
man.
say the world
Yeah.
was spinning faster for some reason.
Girl, finito.
Great.
They did say that.
Done out here, man. Done
Great.
out here.
So yeah, but in terms of like what I can, sorry Nyara, can you repeat the
It's all
question
right,
again?
It's a bit of a
So
long
my
question.
answer-
Sorry, babe. Sorry. So the question was, it probably sounds different every time I say it now.
No, it's okay.
Right?
Viewers probably
It's all right.
not viewers. Well, viewers and listeners, actually.
Viewers and listeners.
It seems
yes.
like we're getting a lot more viewers than listeners. Like, check out
Come on,
the
guys.
Spotify, guys. I'm not
Up your
gonna
game.
lie.
Up your game.
Like,
No, don't scold them. Thank you for coming.
Jim was like, I'm just glad you came.
I'm just glad you're
Right.
here.
So, so basically, how were you coming into 2022? Like, what was your disposition? What was your general, like, how were you coming into 2022, and how did that impact the goals that you'd set for yourself in 2022?
Okay, so I think in 2022 I was just trying to like accept situations and make the best out of them as opposed to like fighting them. And then so in that way I kind of just tried to give myself solutions to things instead of just wishing that things were not a certain way, which helped like kind of navigate those situations.
That's deep.
Nice and vague.
You're not
Nice
gonna
and
get
paid.
any detail out of me.
Nothing was said.
This is like what's
I
it called?
fifth amended
A
that one.
hidden Easter egg.
Ooh.
Literally.
Right. What about you, Miss Nyarazzo?
Wow, the cough is really getting Yari.
I know,
Guys, it's
sorry, babe, but you
cold.
Do you want to take
do you
a
have
sip of your water?
Yeah.
I have water with
please.
me, but you know when it's just like it's beyond me. It's
sounds
given
like
I'm gonna have a
Uh,
cold soon.
Sorry,
Mhm.
babe.
bro.
My voice even sounds deep. I sound like Pop Smoke. It's sad.
I think so. I think you sound the same, babe.
You sound
You always sound like
Good.
Pop Smoke.
Welcome to the party.
I'm kidding.
your lips. Sorry.
That is Ja Rule.
Listen,
No, I
Not me,
know,
girl.
but I was trying to help Yari feel
Your
better about
lips.
herself.
Lavon, mate, I will forever. Oh my gosh. And the way I begged that day.
Oh,
Begged.
Yari. And I said,
Begged.
I
I
will
don't
give
think
you,
I've ever
I will
seen
give
Yari
you whatever
beg
you
for
want.
something like this.
Listen,
Oh my goodness.
it was so funny and it was so enjoyable.
It's
Your
so
lips,
funny.
your smile.
And then it was Yari in the background saying, love you.
No, it was Jan.
Was it really?
I forced you guys to serenade me.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, that's what you wanted.
That's what you wanted. Yari.
There's a
yeah,
lot about you. There's
we
a
need to
lot.
unpack that. We need to unpack that.
Come on.
Those hips. Anyways,
Anyways, back to you. Yari.
back
Do
on
you
myself.
remember your question?
Do you want to ask the question?
Oh
That's
my
what I was gonna say. Do you remember the question?
The question?
Yeah, I remember my question. I think
Good.
for myself, and we've been quite honest about this on our first episode. I'd come into the year because 2021 was rough, very rough. For a lot of
Sorry,
reasons.
I'm not laughing.
To say the
No,
least.
because you know the context. You know the context of how rough.
All of us were in the house. For context, we lived
Oh
all
my God.
together.
Yeah, we lived in one house.
and so we were all in the house.
roughing it out.
Everyone was
literally.
in their rooms. We ate though. Listen.
Oh my gosh, we ate so good.
When it was time to eat,
Yeah,
You're
we
coming
don't eat.
downstairs with Big Freddy.
We
You
even
don't be
would
like,
text each other, be like,
"What
what
was
time are
there?"
we eating tonight?
Yeah, we'd be
We
crying
were
the rest
gonna
of the
eat,
day.
and we were
But
also gonna have color coordinated birthdays.
yeah.
Oh,
you
mate.
what?
And we would watch like
One
a
thing
show, like
about
Teen
us.
Wolf or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
Team Wolf
Yeah.
was our show.
We'll
Outside
always have a
looking
show
in,
to watch.
people probably thought we were fine.
Well, we're living our best life. We'll always
We
have a
were
show
not
to
fine.
watch. We'll always have food. We'll always have an
Good
event
food.
every few
Mhm.
months. Good
Mhm.
food.
McDonald's.
Oh,
Harry's.
Listen, I've got
Oh,
the
road trips.
I've got
to
the weight to
Lidl,
show for
Honestly.
it. This
Honestly,
week.
our
our
trips to
road trip
Lidl was so funny.
There was
that was the best time.
outside laughing. People,
And we would
Yeah,
walk
you
that
know.
whole way, wouldn't we? It would be like a
We
good
would,
hour's
yeah.
walk.
Let me get
walked
Uber
it
back
when-
because
yeah.
Then we get
that's
an Uber
too
back
much.
because
No one's doing
Yeah,
that.
we're not trying to repeat Anyari in second year when she,
Ugh.
when she would carry groceries.
I was
by
thinking.
herself. And Anyari,
It
it's
was
okay.
stubborn. It was
Do you
stubborn.
know what it was stubborn?
stubbornness.
Because
It was.
yeah,
Because
the
it didn't even
stubbornness
make
is
sense.
just
Because Uber
sometimes
was
it
like
just
£3
£3.
because we lived in town,
it was
and we'd
£1
be like, Yari,
each
it's
of us
£1,
is-
and you'd be like,
Guys.
no, but that's £1 I could save. And
I'm
you're like,
sorry.
But you're having to
It even
take
makes me
5
sick.
breaks in the streets.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Sorry,
Let's go back.
let's actually focus. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. But
So
yeah.
what place did you come into?
Yeah, so what
2022
place did you
with?
come into?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think yeah, the place that I come from was that 2021 was very rough, and I'd become very accustomed to like sadness, and almost felt comfortable in it. And I was like, no, that's actually not okay, guys. That's a bit toxic.
Mhm.
Like feeling comfortable in that sadness, and when you're approached with different experiences, new experiences that make you happy, you freak out a bit. So that's kind of how I was coming into 2022. I was like, you know what, let me facilitate more happy moments for myself and be more comfortable with that, and like just exploring, trying new things, pushing myself. That's basically how I was coming into it. And I was like, this year is going to be a year of enjoyment. I'm going to be an enjoyment ambassador. I'm going to have a mint year, going to try a bunch of things. That was basically what was going through my mind. Yeah.
Enjoyment ambassador.
Enjoyment ambassador.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that for you, babes.
But you know, it's a bit flawed. Anyways, Lavon, what do you think?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm really joking. I'm really joking. I'm
You
really
sure we can
joking.
repeat it?
No, it's okay. I just wanted to pawn you. He's like, but
Like,
yeah, I think
My
for me,
stumps.
just no comment.
Whoa.
What is the question again though, for real?
What place did you go? Oh, wait. I got it written down.
Go on, John.
Yeah,
Go
what
on,
place did
Shanisha.
you come into 2022 with?
Okay, that's a great question.
Is it? Because no one remembers it.
Literally,
So-
it's that good though. It's that good that
It's
it
like, it just
transcends your
poof.
mind.
Yeah.
It literally
Right.
is so
Yeah.
good that as soon as you hear it, you
Wow.
can't hear it
It's
again.
like, what's
You
that
know, like
thing?
when you see the
Solid to
sunset for
gas,
the first time, yeah.
sublimation. Yeah.
You can
What?
never you can never experience it for the first time. Wait, Tanisha, what did
Sublimination.
you-
Janisha,
Sommelier.
what happened to liquid? Janisha said
No, because that
solid
is a
to gas.
process.
That's
It's
what
a
iodine
process.
does. I remember iodine.
Oh.
Iodine.
Do you know,
Outside
guys,
it goes to gas.
Yeah.
Janisha always remembers the most random things from A levels, yeah? Things that
I didn't
every
even
time
know
she
that was
says
a
it, I'm like, what are you talking
Spoliation.
about? And it always sounds so like,
Spoliation, bro.
not real. It always sounds not real. And
I
then I'm like,
know.
Why do I remember the things that it's like, are you
you
sure?
didn't need
Honestly.
it. You didn't
And
need
do you know what
it.
it is? It's always random chemistry facts. She'll be like,
I
oh yeah,
love
by the way, the
chemistry.
alcohol, when it
And
has
she'll
a
be like, oh
reaction.
yeah, iodine is the
Like,
and we're like, huh?
None of us
Nah,
remember.
she's
But do you know
clued up.
why? Do you know
She is
why
clued
that
up.
makes
She is
sense?
clued up.
Yeah, it's
Why does that
because
make
yeah, Janisha
Psychoanalysis.
and Tolly. Because there was a time when Tolly was making us watch science videos. When I tell you,
work?
like, I just had to sit there. I was just like, this makes sense every time.
Science videos.
We were watching
in
some
uni?
guy. Was it Shave Some Ice or something?
Oh my god!
And I was thinking, oh, like this is the ice they use for shots. So I was like,
Gary,
oh wow, they use it
the
for like
best
whiskey.
person
So
to hang
funny.
out with a couple. She's so like
Yeah,
comfortable.
she's very good. Yeah,
We
you're
went
very
cinema
nice.
with Gary. Oh,
Yeah, you guys did a lot with Gary.
Obviously, we have.
And
Yeah,
your
Nyeri
friend
is a nice.
Steve.
Even when we
Dude,
used to
that's
hang out as a
literally
four,
what I was
Nyeri would be our fifth.
Honestly,
Yeah, you're.
I
Honestly,
feel
we
like
could.
yeah, next time I need to actually fake being you guys' child.
honestly, I
reckon I
could
could
get
away with it.
I think you could. I think,
we
you
could.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
we
do pigtails or something.
could. Yeah, yeah.
Bring out
Oh
the
my
beads.
But
The
yeah, the
bead
beads.
ends.
Not
Yes,
the
oh my gosh.
beads. Oh,
Very
You-
cute.
See the picture from last week. If you remember the last episode, you know the pictures that we
On
posted
Instagram. Oh,
on
gosh.
Insta of our
Jan-
throwback
Oh, of my little
of
beads.
yours with
I
your
thought
Yeah,
you meant
your
Jan's
friends.
because Jan, I
no,
really
because
wanted
you're
you to post that one,
you're
you
the
know?
baby. You're
We
the
thank you.
baby.
Yeah. I really because even Lavon was like, this is really cute. I was thinking
Oh
she's
my!
gonna
I was
pick me.
surprised you didn't pick that because that's literally
You
the
look
most
so
beautiful picture I've ever
cute.
I
seen.
don't know. I don't know why I didn't pick it now.
Because you
Yeah,
said
you-
like you wanted the other one where you were like,
I
guys,
was-
look how bad it is, and you were like my split ends, and then all of us were like, wow.
Yes, because I wanted to show struggle, but I don't do the whole thing of.
But
I
this is
look-
the thing, you don't really have struggle, do you?
exactly because I'm the
Nah,
youngest
that's
Yeah.
sibling. I had the.
Do you know
sister
what
to be
would have
like,
been a good
no.
struggle picture though? The
Mm.
bayangs. Did you not take pictures during that time?
What bayangs did I have?
It's me who
the
had the
braids, babe.
bangs.
The braids.
I have loads of pictures at that time, but as soon as I realized that was a not good, I deleted them.
No.
I was like,
No,
this is it.
Janisha.
Like, as
Janisha
soon
was
as I
like,
realized this
burn
is
it.
not it, yeah,
Literally.
burn it.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it
my
was, the
gosh.
cloud was not a thing. Well, it probably was a thing, but
Yeah. You should
Call
have saved
Mark,
it
he's
on
got
G
them.
photos.
honestly,
I thought you didn't like all of them,
What?
Chippo. The way you were chatting that episode. They're
Mark is watching you right now.
Oh
Sorry, no, Lavon.
yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Let me answer the question. Okay, so coming into 2022,
Mhm.
the mindset that I had,
Mhm.
I also, like Janisha, went back and looked at my diary because I put in a 2021 reflection before the year. And oh guys, this was so dramatic, yeah. But like,
Mm.
I'm very, like, you guys know me, I'm a very dramatic person in real life anyway. But then imagine me writing out my thoughts. It's even drama on a scale of 1 billion, right?
Yeah, because you're being honest.
Story
Like, you're
and
I'm
just
it's a
saying
being so
story.
everything.
honest.
Yeah.
Yes. And I really like it to be like, whoa, like this is so hard hitting. So my reflection of like the end of 2021, I
Mm.
basically wrote something in my journal along the lines of, I found this year very unfulfilling. And I was like,
Mm.
it's very similar to Janisha actually. And I was like, I feel like I didn't live up to my potential and my purpose. And I feel like I
Wow.
did things just for the sake of doing them
Mhm.
rather than actually being fully yielded to what the will of God is for my life and specifically for that year. And I just felt like I was making plans but not committing them to the Lord, and like everything was failing because I was making my own plans, if that makes sense. And so when I was coming into 2021, I really wanted to be intentional about yielding my plans to the Lord and like actually making decisions and making plans, but committing them in the place of prayer and actually seeking God's will. But also in that same breath, like I wanted to have discipline in my life in general. Like I wanted to have more discipline with like my health, because I felt like in the COVID years, like 2021 and 2020, I really relaxed on my health. Like I was just whatever. Like I was not having the best eating habits. I wasn't really working out. Like all the things that like I was doing before so well and I was very intentional about. I felt like in 2021, I was just like Janisha said, literally, I felt like I was just a leaf. I was just living. I was just existing for the sake of it rather than actually existing intentionally and walking in the will and in the purpose of God. So coming into 2022, I was really in the mindset of like, whoa, like last year was so unfulfilling for me. We are not having this again. So we need to get ourselves together. So that's the mindset that I came into this year with, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Honestly, and like with what you guys have said about the feeling like you're, I guess, floating around, I guess because it was so difficult for us because we graduated in the midst of COVID. So our graduation experience was completely different.
And a large
the ways that we
our
were
uni
entering
experience was
right.
Most of our uni experience, really, because we only had like
Literally.
year one and a bit of year two.
Honestly,
actual uni.
literally. So we came into, I guess, adulthood a bit. It felt almost like we stumbled into it a bit. Because it was just
unprepared.
like, oh, like we're here now, like, and it didn't feel different because we were all still kind of indoors and trying to figure out like how to get back outside again. So in that way, when you're almost like reflecting, you're sitting down and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm an adult, but what have I done, type of thing. I get why you would be in that position.
And I think especially because we didn't have like a ceremonious thing of like a graduation where it's like, okay, we're done now. We just had that little online whatever that was.
Did we even go to that?
I went for like 5 minutes and then it was just like,
I was gonna say I didn't remember
rubbish.
going. I don't
remember
going.
So it just felt very like we didn't have, okay, we've ended this is done.
There was no end.
It's crinkle crankle, but we're gonna make it,
because it literally was like a laptop shut and we were finished.
Literally,
we
that's
done.
what we did. We just went,
submit your final assignment. That's
submit.
That's crazy.
And then we'd all walk down to the kitchen and be like, I finished my exam, guys.
That's what we did. Oh my god,
the next morning though, because then it took us 24 hours.
24 hours exam. That
like,
word,
so
24
how was
hours.
your exam? I haven't slept.
And then we'd sleep for 3 days and order McDonald's that evening. But yeah, on the day of the exam, we were trying to cook.
It's the jackets for me every time. The jacket and the ragu. What were we doing?
And the ragu that takes hours.
An exam.
3-hour-long ragu.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
we were dramatic. It's a family trait, like Lavon was saying.
Literally family trait.
You know, I was looking back here through our episodes. We actually are really dramatic. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we are.
I love that for us though.
I feel like I never realized it though, like how dramatic we are until I listen back. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. But like when I was looking back at my diary, I really realized that I'm very dramatic. Like I know I'm dramatic, but like reading back my own words, I was like, is this how I sound to people every day? Like this is very dramatic.
But I guess because you're writing stuff in the heat of the moment. Like
that's true.
When you're journaling, you're just like, you know what, let me just word vomit right now. The fact that you guys even had the courage to go, you know, do you ever have some journal entries where you're like, I'm never reading that again? Like once you finished, I'm never reading that again.
Mind you, I didn't read my journal. I read my diary, like my planner. Sorry, I should have made that a bit clearer. I read my diary as in my planner, like, not my diary as in my journal. Oh, if I read my journal, child, that answer would have been a lot different.
We would have got deep.
We would have got way deeper.
We would have got that deep.
Yeah.
Janice, stop making fun of my voice, man.
Your
Welcome to the
voice.
party.
Your voice. Oh.
Nyari's actually got credits on that song.
Yeah.
He couldn't get a certain like low
She's the
bass. He had
Ashanti.
to come in and do
I'm a ghost vocal.
It's not the Ashanti.
Who said that? Red card for whoever said that. If it's Janisha, just leave the room. It's Chippo.
His Triple said I was Ashanti to his J-Lo.
Ashanti's warming up now because ain't she doing the Grammys for J-Lo?
No, do you know what, Janisha? Leave the room. Red card upon red card upon red card. Is this
it's
why you
not.
wore a red top today to represent your?
No, because the things that
Did you
Janisha's
see
saying
that
today.
clip? I'm sorry.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll send it to you. I'll try and find it, Lord.
Yes, please, babe. Yes, please.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay. So
Let's
with that
Okay,
in
let's
mind,
come back.
Jem,
Come back.
Next
Mm.
question.
with that in mind, what were some of the goals that you'd set for yourself in 2022?
Mm.
Okay, let me get
Let's go.
the list out. Okay.
Oh, you guys have a list.
Oh,
Yeah, I have
No,
my
to be
diary
fair, I
in
had
front
a
of me.
list.
yeah.
Let me my journal in front of me. Right. So back to the question. What were some of the goals that you had for 2022?
Okay. I'll go
Everyone,
first.
by the way, we've just gone to get
We
our
search for
journals and our planners.
journals. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had 6 goals.
Oh.
Oh.
Specific.
So the first one was I wanted to have daily communication with God. Whether that was I don't know why I said God like
Stop
that.
it. Sorry. Can I just say, if me and Janisha end up having the same goals, yeah, I'm leaving this chat because our reflections sounded the same. Why is her first goal sounding identical?
So who copied
to
who
mine?
then? That's really the mystery now.
Who was
copied who?
born? It's because I was
Who?
born
But who
first.
wrote on their planner first? I probably planned mine in
Yeah,
December.
she did.
So
Yeah, she did.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Carry on my
Yeesh.
So it's me. I went into the room and said, "Oh, let me take it."
and you're always in my room as well. So you were like, "Oh, your planner is
Yeah.
nice."
Actually, really could have. Anyway,
And you used to I remember because when my planner was new, you were like, "Oh, that's really
I loved
nice."
that. But I was like,
You love it,
oh my
innit?
God,
It's
it's so
stunning. It was
nice.
really, really nice.
"Yeah, it's
Ooh,
really
Sorry.
good."
stunning. Sorry.
Stunning. Sorry.
Stunning.
More like a meme thing. Real.
Family. Oh.
Huh?
Meme family. A
Just-
meme
Just
family.
on there, like, we need to get this out.
Anyway, guys, we're nearly out of time.
Okay. So my first one was daily communication with God. So either
Mhm.
prayer, reading the Bible,
Yes.
worship, something like that.
Mhm.
My other thing was like a health goal. I wanted to exercise. I wanted to walk. And yeah, it was about like eating and stuff.
Mhm.
My third one, which is not something that it's not something I'm pursuing right now, was
Okay.
about medical school.
Huh? Oh, yes.
My mum was about medical school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, so it was preparing for the GAMSAT and the UCAT. I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
you guys better be honest.
Whoa,
course.
whoa,
That was
okay.
aggression.
We are a hot
What happened
podcast.
to-
We're a hot podcast.
We're not transparent. We're honest.
We
We're
are.
translucent. We're translucent.
Are we not
Translucent.
transparent?
I think we're
No.
transparent. Okay, now so we're not transparent.
We're not.
Oh.
No, guys, we're not transparent.
No, we're not as transparent as we could be, but we are transparent in what we talk about to a degree.
Yeah.
I would say we're honest because we're asking the question now.
Oh, okay.
Because
Well,
like
just,
honesty is
we're
just like
just-
in response to. What were
sorry.
you gonna say?
No.
Can I just say, I nearly said we're just, but HO in it because if we're not
Oh.
transparent,
So
We just
but
house.
then I said, whoa, we're not.
I'm not trying to put that on my name.
we just
No.
house.
And then my fourth one was to get into a master's.
Mhm.
Oi!
Boy, boy, boy.
And
Insert
then
that
my-
clip of Wendy from Real Housewives of Potomac's
And then my fifth one was a financial goal.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. See, we're translucent because I'm not telling you my money. And then my sixth one was about what's it called? A coding course that's free on Harvard that I would say everyone should do because it's free. So
Ah.
Send us the link.
I actually will. I've been saying I need to. I will.
You have.
That was mine.
Beautiful. Chipper.
Nice.
I thought you were just gonna sit there and stare at us. I was like,
So did I, you know.
Exactly.
I was like, I know you said you didn't have a planner, but boy,
It's just that I just came
No.
into the year
as a
here.
leaf.
just open.
I'm just open to
No,
wherever
I
the wind
literally-
blows.
I think I had two main goals
Mhm.
coming into the year. The first was shock horror, daily communication with God. And then so original, I know, never been done before. It was a real risk. It was a real risk that I was taking. But no, I was trying to get on the daily, because do you know how they have like, you know how there's like Bible streaks?
Because Shipper says something so serious and we're just laughing.
In the background.
This is a very serious moment.
It's
Anyway.
given Will
It's so
Smith in that
serious.
episode where he's on the ground. In the Fresh Prince.
In Fresh Prince, I didn't see
Yes.
that one.
You know which one I'm talking
I think
about, when he
Janisha
keeps
saw it because
fainting.
she's dying.
Okay, sorry, Chippo.
Sorry,
What's that?
Chippo.
It's okay.
Focus. Yeah.
So like last year, do you know how there's like on the Bible app they have streaks of like how many days
Yeah.
you like read the Bible? It was
Mhm.
getting where I was having like streaks of not reading the Bible. So I was like, yeah, that's not good.
Is that girl? Let me
I
work
was
that
like, you guys had streaks.
I was like,
Nyari said a streak.
no, that's my point. I was going.
out. There was no
Yeah,
streak.
so
honey.
There was no
streak was
streak.
absent.
That's the point.
So that was one of my goals, and I found like there's like a daily word thing on Spotify, or there'll be like daily devotions, or like small things that like maybe encourage that like initiation, because sometimes I felt like it was hard to get into, or I feel like it's too
Tough to
late,
start. Yeah.
or yeah. But I found like small ways to get into it. And then my other goal for the year, like Janisha, was financially related.
You're not gonna give us your price. I'm joking. I'm joking.
What's in that account?
So you're translucent. You're not transparent.
6 figures.
6 figures.
Yeah. Okay. I would say for myself, the way that I did it was I was gonna show it, but then I was like, no. Someone did the screen grab. Oh, you didn't do that, did you? No.
Translucent.
Don't worry,
But the way that I did
translucent,
it was,
translucent.
I split it up
Honest.
into different forms of well-being. So I split it up into emotional, relational, financial, spiritual, vocational, educational, and physical.
Okay.
Sorry, side note on what Nyari just said. If you haven't listened to our well-being episode,
Yes.
Plug. Tell them.
honestly, you really should, because the way
Yeah.
Nyari broke that down, we basically break it down
That's
like that
a
in that
snippet,
episode.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Right.
after obviously you listen to this episode, you should go back and check out our well-being episode.
Because who
Definitely.
knows when we'll
Good
come back with
episode.
season
You get a
3,
prayer
guys.
as well.
Oh, that was a beautiful episode,
was-
guys.
Boy,
That's my
do you get a
favorite
prayer.
episode that we've ever
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
It was that one, yeah, the one where we had
The long
we had
prayer.
a praise
Prayer.
session at the end. Oh,
We then had
powerful.
people were
Hey.
given a what?
The Lord was moving, boy.
Amen.
But yeah,
Thank
sorry,
you,
Nyari,
Jesus.
back to you.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just read you like a few of the ones that I had from each one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So one of them was I'm going back because guys, when I tell you, yeah, I have not touched this. I need to now touch it again because obviously we're making
We're
a vision boards,
ending. Yeah.
right?
Go off.
One of them was, this is really deep, you know. One of them was for my emotional, it was to be consistent with journaling.
Mhm.
And then another one was to
Mm.
advocate for myself. I was like, oh,
Ooh, wow, that's good. That's a really
That's a
good
I
good
like
one.
that
one.
you identified that. Yeah.
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 Might
Yeah.
touch
That's
that, eh?
very
Very deep,
yeah,
yeah.
isn't it?
Let me.
Let's
In
do
fact, I don't have a notebook, but I've got a paper
Let me get it
towel.
down.
Write this
yeah.
down. Write this down.
Literally. Write this down. If you don't see me in heaven, you've gone to
so-
hell.
Me and Janisha were watching a video the other day, yeah,
Mhm.
and then it was this man, yeah, he's like a relationship coach or something,
Oh,
and we were
God.
watching him react to Tom and Zendaya. Oh no, it wasn't her, it was someone else, yeah. And then what did he say, Janisha? He was like,
Right.
he was like, something.
Wait, guys, is this the
a
same guy
prevention
you were
is better
watching
than a
in third
cure.
year?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You guys are
It
still-
is. It is.
Is it the same
white guy was
version,
like
Ginger?
was it like brown hair?
The
or
wavy
something?
hair?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know we watched him in third
We
year. but
did. I can't
guys.
remember what we watched
I
of that.
remember
No, we
seeing
did because we
it.
watched the Bieber thing.
It was
Yes,
Justin Bieber
the
and
Justin
Hailey.
and Haley.
Yeah.
But
we were like, why are
We
they
just
coming for
watched their
them?
wedding. We just
Exactly.
watched
So
their
we
wedding,
were
and then we
down the
watched that
hole.
man just come for them and
we
their
were
whole
just like-
relationship.
We were like, no. We were like, no. And we proper defended them.
We're
as
like,
well,
nah,
like,
this
as
is-
if someone was listening to us.
No, this is not
Imagine.
them.
But yeah, you were saying, what was he saying in the video?
Basically, he said something and he was like, oh, now I remember now. He was like, 1 pound of prevention is better than 10 pounds of cure. And then he was like, I'm gonna say that again.
What could this have possibly been in relation to?
Shiva, if you watch the video, it's so random.
So random. That's what made it more
It's better
funny.
than
It's
10
better than
pounds
10 pounds.
And then
of
his
cure.
other
said
video, he was
bars.
talking about rubbish for 10 minutes. Anyway,
Yeah, and then he was just talking for so long that we had to skip, and we were like, "We're here to see Tom and Zendaya."
No,
we
but
could
guys-
even we should have just gone and watched Thomas.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
should
not
have
learn
just
from the
gone-
Justin and Haley.
We
Why
did.
would you watch it
Apparently not,
again?
you know.
We wanted to. We were like,
Apparently-
let's give him a chance.
Yeah, we wanted to give him a
I
chance,
know.
but when he said the 1 pound and 10 pound thing, me and Ginger looked at each other and we said, "I think we're at our wits' end." Yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
anyway, back to Nyari. So, advocating for yourself.
Yes. And then like then obviously in my relational, it was I guess it was like trying to be better for my community. So
Whoa.
that would mean like practicing more vulnerability, you know. It was trying to be more present.
Deep.
It was very deep. And then I had financial goals as well.
Share
How
them,
much?
share them, share
How
them.
much?
How much? How much? How much?
Oh, that is so funny.
You know, I'm just talking a humble 60k per month.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you
Innit?
know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Six figure month,
figures,
next month,
six figures,
next month,
six figures.
seven.
Wanna make a
seven.
meal, not a five, and an option.
Hey,
Isn't that true?
Gotta run out. We're gonna be hit with a copyright because
Options.
guys-
No, I'm changing it, so no, we can't. They can't copyright.
listen,
This is a remix.
I go,
I'll do my whistle. I'll do my whistle. note.
Reckon. Come on, whistle note. Come on,
Yeah,
whistle note. Come on,
bring out the
Mariah.
whistle note.
oh my gosh.
No,
And I had
no,
a
no.
spiritual
Right.
goal as well. Guess what it was?
Stop it right now.
Communication, we can.
Yeah,
We love that.
Yeah.
Amen.
We
all
do,
were
we
similar.
do,
It's just-
and
yeah.
we needed it.
Our
We needed
friends.
that's
it.
true.
We love
And then
Yeah.
obviously vocational.
you. Sorry.
So I
All I
thought
can
I wanted to
say-
be a medic, but I don't.
See you later.
So that was part of the
alligator.
growth and evolution of this year.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm,
money happened,
Yeah.
didn't
mm.
Bye
Yeah.
it? So there was that. And then I had like educational well-being. So just filling myself with different forms of information, reading, as you know, and then physical well-being, which was exercising, because during lockdown I was very consistent with my exercising and I got like really on top of it. But then for some reason I didn't, and I was like, oh, I actually do like exercising, like it's actually quite fun.
Mm.
So I just wanted to incorporate a bit more of that in the coming year. And obviously, you know, the general goal of like drinking more water, because you can always drink more water. You don't
You
realize.
could. You could. But you know what? Yeah, once I remember when I was at home, yeah, and I was trying to tell my mom that I wasn't drinking enough water, and she was like, yeah, but you know what, sometimes
Oh.
you maybe you need to not drink that much water, because
You know, even
like, she
sounds
was
like. You know, even
You
sounds
know what?
like.
At this point, let's have Tolu come in on an
Yes,
episode.
on an
with all
episode
of his
because-
different things.
all of his
Because
different things.
it's been mentioned how many times today?
Oh my goodness. And it's
I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't remember.
And my mom was trying to tell me that if I drink too much water, like I'm gonna drown or something. I was like,
Because
Mom,
of the
I'm
salt.
I'm
Like,
not gonna drown
it
because
just
of
made-
water. Like I would never drink so much water that I'm gonna drown. Obviously, I'm not gonna drink like 10 liters a day, but I'm pretty sure if I do 3 bottles, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. But
This
yeah,
is why
Tony
you
tried
need
to
to
convince
dehydrate
us that
yourself.
drinking water is bad as well. What did he say to us, Jenny?
He was
Didn't he say
like-
like if you're trying to lose weight, you should not drink water?
Don't drink water because
Wait, but didn't we
Yeah.
try and research him and there was something that kind of made
It was a
LeVon.
small loophole. It was a
LeVon.
small loophole.
But it was a
LeVon,
no,
we
no.
don't give
I'm not
him a win.
No,
We
because
don't give him
remember,
a win.
it was a
You
small
will never
loophole,
find out.
and
It was a
then
tiny
we
loophole,
Googled
but
it.
it's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
We were all there when we Googled it and we saw the small loophole, but then it said further down that it wasn't true for like
Oh,
several reasons.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
was
Janine,
Yes.
she said,
Rubbish.
don't.
She said,
Don't
so
give him-
do it.
Because we'll be talking about Shrek next.
A win is a
Don't
win.
give the
No,
win.
because you know what? Let's not.
We already lost. We won the battle, but we lost the war.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't, Levon. Levon.
I'm only
Levon.
joking.
I
I'm
was. Someone mute Levon now because she's clearly
Do you
not.
know? Let me mute myself.
Because Levon's not getting it.
Bye.
Oh my gosh,
See ya.
guys.
I'm back, and I'm better.
All this time,
Mm.
realized Janisha doesn't have our name up. It's just redeemed podcast.
Oh, that's fine. No one's name is
Yeah.
here.
All of our names
They'll
are here.
just have to remember it.
Wait, I don't see any of our names.
It's
I see.
you can see it
I
when
can
you click
see
the
yours.
screen.
Oh,
I don't want to
That's
mess
okay.
up the recording though. I think it's okay.
it's
Okay,
okay.
that's fine.
I should not
fine.
buy song. I should not buy song.
My name's Janisha, by the way. You forgot.
For those that didn't know, how do you spell that, Janisha? M-I-C.
C-K-E-Y.
M-O-U-S-E.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, Nyari,
Your
back
goals?
to you.
Yeah, that's
So relational, being more transparent, which was difficult, and then
Mhm.
vocational. You said what you said, and then
Oh no,
finance.
yeah, vocational.
Wait, I really
was-
went too far back. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
you-
Yeah, I was like, blooming it.
Oh, you did a recap.
We didn't even go
I'm finished.
Recap
previously
episode.
on the Big Bang Theory. Like,
Literally,
chill out.
gosh. Bang.
Like I really set it up for you, Levon. It's your time.
Yeah, you did. Thank you, babes. Oh yeah, you ended on your spiritual goal, which was the same as what
I
we
ended
had
on my
the past.
physical, babe.
Amen. Let the church say amen.
Oh
Oh.
wow, guys, I missed the chapter. Well, since you ended there, I'm gonna begin there because I want a nice continuous line.
Are you sure?
Okay?
Doesn't seem like you're listening, right?
I was, guys, but my brain is behind. Okay, I was
Okay.
born a year later than all of you, so it takes me a bit longer to catch
You're
up.
one
But
of
we're in the
those-
same
Anyway.
academic year, Levon.
But I'm a baby. I'm only
Ah.
I'm only a baby. I'm only a baby. Just a baby. Not the Taylor Swift kind of baby, an actual baby. Like, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly.
Anyway, go on.
Time,
Anyway,
guys, time.
sorry, yeah, you're right, babes. So my goals, I will start with like the way I split up, you know how Nyari split up her goals into different aspects of well-being. I
Mhm.
split up my goals into different aspects of my life that like I wanted to nurture, basically.
Mhm.
So spiritual, I had a spiritual goal, I had a personal life goal, I had
Mhm.
like a financial goal, and then I also had like a future me goal, if that makes sense.
Oh.
So that's kind of how I split my goals. And
What
then
do you mean by
start with the
future me? That's interesting.
I'll get into it. I'll start with my personal goal because it links to what Nyari was talking about health and fitness. So one of my main personal goals was getting back into fitness and healthy living.
Mhm.
And as a little sub part of that is like nurturing myself, nurturing my body, but
Mhm.
also nurturing and being intentional in my
Mhm.
relationships. So it was
Mhm.
kind of like a blanket thing of like personal goals, right? But the top one was health and fitness because, you know, health is wealth, guys.
Mhm.
And then like a financial goal, I had a certain financial goal. But
Say
How
also,
many
it,
figures you
say it,
talking?
Say it.
How many figures?
What we
It's not
talking?
That West.
all I can say
Her
is
bride
it's not
price is
7.
increased.
It's not
Period.
7.
Can you at
That's
least
all I
can
can
you at
say.
least
Yesterday's
tell us the
price is not
currency?
today's price.
It's not the same. Inflation.
Are we
but
talking
even
Zim
more.
dollars or are we talking?
I-
Oh no. Do you know those
I'm
one
receiving
time-
a lot of questions and I'm
Sorry,
not gonna
she's
answer
overwhelmed.
any of them. I'm overwhelmed, guys. I'm only a
Overwhelmed.
baby. But yeah, so
What?
under
You're
that,
having
I
a
had
baby? Sorry, I
I'm
just heard that.
only a baby.
I
Oh
thought she said you're having. Sorry. That
This
was
would
me.
not be announced on this, Jan.
Yeah,
That's what you
not
missed
like
This is
on.
not
this.
my pregnancy
Guess that
reveal.
we're not transparent here. We're just hoes.
But guys,
Just
if we had our podcast like at like our childbearing years, like sorry, that sounds so weird
Amen.
to say that.
Amen.
But
That'd be amazing.
that would be so
And we
funny.
look
Like
back and we watch it.
yes, because then
Oh
I would
my
have you guys' reaction and it wouldn't be weird. Do you know what I mean?
No.
That'd be
Or like if I
crazy.
got engaged or something and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Gosh.
what is going on? Do you know
Oh.
what I mean? Like, that would be so
Oh
funny.
my
We
goodness.
cry.
Yeah, exactly. That would be
In
good.
tears.
Anyway, I'm gonna do that for one of the things in life. But anyway, so financial goal. I had a certain financial goal, which I will not share. But as a bracket underneath that, I also like had a goal of being more minimalist with my spending habits. Because I feel like in 2021, I was such a frugal spender. Like I was spending money like I have it, and I really didn't. And literally I put a specific thing. I was like, don't be controlled by ASOS, because I was giving controlled by ASOS in 2021. I literally was on that. Like I spent more time on ASOS than I did on
Because
any
it was
other
a
app.
discovery.
It was
a
yes,
discovery.
because I stepped into it, right? So I
Yeah.
think it for me, it was like it was very key for me to like not be controlled. Like, you know how Janisha, you were saying at the beginning of the episode that you felt like you were not in control. I think when it came to spending money, I genuinely was not in control, and I was controlled by ASOS. Like, it's so silly to say, but it was the truth. So I had to put it very plainly for myself, like, don't be controlled by ASOS. And again, be more intentional. So just like in my personal goals, I wanted to be more intentional. With my financial goals, I also wanted to be more intentional. And then with future me goals, one of the things I wanted to focus on was like applying for courses and like setting direction, because I think to like, as we were talking about, like when we finished uni and we kind of left in the air, I really wasn't sure about the direction that I wanted to go in with my life, but I wanted to be intentional and actually apply for stuff, whether that's applying for a master's, whether that's considering like something else. Like I just wanted to actually be applying myself, but also apply for things that are gonna help me like in the future. So for example, like driving was one of my goals, like applying myself in that way, if that makes sense. But you know, certain circumstances got in the way of that, but you know, like things like that. Just
Listen,
apply.
passenger princesses for the win.
Hey, but sometimes maybe be the driver.
Why drive if your pound is my 75p?
My
Oh,
way.
Jesus.
It's true though. Huh? So I wanted to do things that were basically setting me up for my future. So apply for courses so that I have a bit of a direction, like apply for other things that are like a bit more personal but would set me up for the future, and also get my driving lessons so that I could apply myself in my travel. And again, in being intentional about what each of those things represent for my future, if that makes sense. And then just like everybody here, my big spiritual goal, I think because I left 2021 feeling like I was
Why are you like a footballer, Jan? The World Cup is getting to you, bro. Like she scored.
It's so funny.
And then they always
do like the thing when they're on their knee and they're like, they do that.
Yeah, and they like slide
One guy
things.
sliding for years.
And then, the thing is, they slide forever, you know. I don't know what that floor is made of.
Exactly.
And you
It's
know
only
what's
for
more
guys.
though? They get up and their knees are not dirty.
Right.
Is it
Nah.
real?
But
sometimes
I
there's
think
scuff.
it's real.
Sometimes
Yeah.
No, it's got to be
It's not-
real,
it
man.
has to be
Sometimes it
real.
isn't, I swear.
I don't know.
It's CGI.
Oh,
Chuba.
Chuba
It's
said
an AI.
It's an
It's
ice
AI.
skating rink. That's why they can slide for that.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Football
Actually be
is
careful
actually
though with
hockey.
the AI. Like, be actually careful with that.
What? Oh, that AI trend. Don't
The
ever
AI
do nothing with
images.
AI. Listen.
There's
I
an
didn't have
AI
to stop
trend.
Watch,
I know
like to
that.
people, did you not watch the capture? Go and watch the capture on BBC. Yeah.
Ugh, don't let
Yeah.
them get your face.
They're gonna
Don't let
get
them
your face. But the thing is, what's also bad is that they are unethically using artists' work to like make these images. For some people, they're over sexualizing them, and it's just
I
it's
saw
a
one girl with her
lot.
cat.
Ye-
They made her into some character. Like it was like
No, that's really
What?
bad. That's so bad. It's worse because we all laughed.
we're sorry, man. We're
That's the way
We're
Janisha
sorry.
prefaced that. I saw one girl with a cat.
It's Chuba, it is.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, back to my
That's
spiritual
so
goals.
The
funny.
next question is a
Like,
nice question. I like the next question.
Is
But
it
yeah,
first of all,
your-
Janisha, how about you
Hasn't
let me finish
finished.
my question?
No, I know, but I'm saying we need to, so we can get to that next one.
Janisha, just shut up. We don't care about your spiritual
Literally.
goals.
Oh,
It's the same as
that is not
everyone's
the
anyway.
truth.
You said shut your mouth.
Allegations on my name.
Is
That's what my low.
get my name out of your mouth. But anyway, sorry. Spiritual goals. So again, the key element here being intentionality.
Mhm.
But I wanted to be specific about what I said. So my spiritual goals were basically to spend daily time in the word and in prayer and to cultivate constant communion with the Holy Spirit. So like what Janisha was talking about earlier, whether that's like, you know, like listening to worship, whether it's praying, whether it's reading the word, but just having the intentionality of like, okay, like every day I'm gonna give you like, I'm gonna like, I want to be with you every day, if that makes sense. And you know what, like as I say this, it reminds me, there's this teaching that I was listening to of Stephanie Gretzinger. If you guys know her, yeah, she's like a worshiper. She's a Christian worship gospel artist, a
10
contemporary
out of
worship.
10, mate.
10 out of 10, lovely woman, right? And she was giving a story about one day when they were like having dinner with her family and they asked their little baby girl to like pray for the food, right? And she said that her daughter, as she was praying, she was like, Jesus, we adore your presence and we give you our presence. And I said, not this little girl encapsulating what like I feel like I was trying to say with my intention, like at the beginning of the year. Like I didn't want it to be just a thing of like, okay, yeah, pray every day, read the Bible every day. Like I genuinely want it to be a thing of like God, I want to give you my presence every day, just like you give us your presence all the time. Because I feel like sometimes we can do stuff, but we're not actually giving of ourselves. So I think for me, like I really wanted to be intentional about giving myself and giving my presence, quote unquote, like, and being intentional about that every day by spending time with him, and then also consulting him in everything that I did through prayer, fasting, and obviously reading the word. Because again, from the previous year, I felt like I was just doing things in my own way, in my own will, without really seeking God about it. So this year I want it to be a bit more intentional about not doing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Lovely. That was beautiful answers,
That was
guys.
beautiful.
Very
nice.
honest.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
that was very
sharing.
honest.
Very
guys.
translucent. No, I'm joking.
Translation.
So it's still
okay.
hot. It's still hot.
It's still hot. Yeah, we are actually. Yeah.
honest, open, and translucent.
We're not a hose.
Never.
The next question was what is the most impactful / transformative thing that you've learned this year?
I like this question.
Thanks,
I love
babe.
this question.
I was like,
If you ever want, you know what? Maybe I should write. I feel like I should write a book full of questions.
you should.
I think you should do a journal.
Do a card
You should do like a
thing.
journal thing. What's
Yeah,
it
she could
called?
actually like a prompt. The prompt thing.
Yeah.
Journal prompts, because you're really
Yeah.
good at questions. Like I'll give this to Nyari, guys. Nyari is very introspective and she knows how to
Yeah,
draw
she
information out of you. Like she's very patient in that way as well. So I think Nyari, you genuinely should. I don't know if maybe there's a way we can do it for our listeners as well. Like
Maybe
have some kind of like not like guided
We can make-
journaling, but like you know what I mean? Like get people, you know what I mean?
That'd
Get
be
people
amazing.
to like have a bit of an introspection. That would be so good.
Yeah,
We
that'd
could
be
do
really
it for
beautiful.
ourselves as well, but it would be nice to like do it for you guys. Let us know
Yeah.
if you guys would like something like that. But
Yeah.
that would be
Comment
really
like all of that
Like-
stuff. Oh my gosh. Also, guys, rate and review us on Spotify. Like, actually, you can put stars down and everything. Yeah.
Oh, really?
5 stars.
Please,
Is it out of 5?
Yeah, it's out of 5.
Whatever it's out of, put the maximum amount. Sorry.
100.
was that a bit aggressive?
if that's how you feel.
Yeah, if
But
that's how you
obviously
feel
that
about it.
is
If you
how you
didn't-
should
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
We would hope that's how you feel.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hope.
If there's any ways that
So-
we can improve,
Then
go
just
I
ahead.
mean, if
tell
you're
us,
still
please.
listening at the end of season 2, I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely have to love us. Do you know what I mean?
Because we've aged. We started in Feb.
Shim.
It's okay. It's okay. God gives grace. We're
Honestly,
going through
because
it.
Lord knows, as we're
Yeah.
going to go into this
I
question,
needed
life happened.
grace.
Right. So,
Lord.
Jan,
Sorry,
what was the
Okay.
most impactful thing that's happened to you this year?
that's happened.
Oh, sorry, not
Whoa.
happened. Sorry.
Things you learned this year.
The most
Yeah.
powerful thing you've learned. I was gonna say, Gary, that
Sorry,
was
I
switching
switched
it
the
up.
question.
She's switching it up because it can't be a lot.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm
Um,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm not Tamar.
I like this question. I really like this question. It was very, like Lavon said, introspective. It was like I had to look at me and be like, whoa, what's going on?
Staring at the man in the mirror.
Anyway, yeah. So
That was good. That was good self-control, Jan. Well done, baby.
because I was going to go into it.
Yeah, you were.
Okay.
Next question.
Well, same question, actually.
Same question.
Good.
Thank you guys. I'm so like I feel like I'm my funniest version when I'm with you guys.
Wow.
In my usual life, I'm not this
You're
funny.
funny, Lavon. You are.
I know, but
I'm sure you were.
I feel like here I'm like extra funny.
You're
Like it's
extra
like
funny.
funny laced with funny.
Why
Do you know what I
you
mean?
why you not letting
Lace.
them
That is
get
a
the joke?
very strange
Why lace?
way for you to
Because it's like
describe it, funny.
hidden. It's hidden. Like you know how
Okay.
we were talking about how Taylor Swift will like hide things in her meaning in her words.
Oh.
So my
Funny
funniness,
underscore funny.
funny underscore
The
funny.
back.
Thank you.
Brackets.
Yeah. Brackets.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that thing? When
Guys,
it's at
we're
the
really
top?
changing location
Yeah,
of
yeah,
where
yeah.
the like. Sorry, I wasn't even concerned about the topic deflection of
Oh.
where the funny is because I'm thinking brackets are here, but
Or
laced,
it could be like
laced
funny,
is round.
funny squared.
but then-
you know, squared.
It's just
Why
funny,
me?
guys. I'm trying to explain the joke.
What? So anyway, because you
Sorry.
was on it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I did this, I was like, "Oh, this is a nice question." For
You should
me,
said this like 10 times. Your answer better be like
this was a beautiful question.
She's gonna be like, I learned that actually hyaluronic acid is really good for your skin. Oh my
Nah,
God.
just if you say something silly like that, yeah, it's on site.
I'm coming through that screen and I'm
I'm
beating you
coming
up.
through the screen, literally.
Brilliant.
But sorry, what was the most impactful lesson, Janisha, this year?
Okay, I'm gonna try not to say it was a nice question, but
It was a mint question, Jan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So basically, for me, we're gonna get deep.
Oh,
So get ready to submerge underwater.
Let's
We're gonna
go.
get deep.
Let's
For
have
me-
it.
let me hold my breath.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking holding my breath here.
Hold it, mate.
Okay. I'm
Not
excited.
like the
Uh-oh,
water, so you
Janisha.
have to.
How could you tell us hold it? That's not nice.
No, Yari, she's saving our lives. If you breathe, you will
I don't have
inhale
a
the
mask to
water.
give you.
Oh, we're in metaphorical
It's fine,
underwater.
Janisha. I have gills,
Yeah.
remember?
I thought you were talking
I
about
have-
like us being above water.
Wait. Did we all just miss that
She
joke?
said she has gills.
But
Wait,
Juba,
is-
do you have
wait,
gills or do you
guys,
just have one
chills.
gill?
No, because we are actually on the 15th of December 2022. The pronunciation of GIL has been confirmed by Chippo here and now. Your middle name is pronounced Gil.
She was not
Oh, I don't know. It's still,
was not
it's still under
admitted. She
speculation.
said it is not known. It will never be known.
Translucent.
It's still
I don't know how to pronounce
Translucent. Huh. Okay, no. We actually need to answer this question because I'm the first one.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually need to get.
And
this
if I
one,
haven't
guys.
even gone, Lord. Okay.
Hey. Yeah, let's go, Jan. Let's go.
For me, I came to realizations. You know how before I was like, oh, I feel like I'm floating in the wind. I felt very directionless.
Yes.
But what I came to a point was that, yes, I'm floating in the wind, but it's not directionless. There's like a leaf blower that's directing me, basically.
Wow.
So I'm trying to give a metaphor because in my head, that's how
I
it makes
love
No,
sense.
we're
that.
seeing
That's
it, Jan.
beautiful.
Don't worry,
No,
we're hearing
we're
you.
with you. We're in the submarine.
We're in the bid for attention.
Amen. Come on. So basically, yeah. So it was like a traumatic event that happened to me was essentially controlling a lot of the decisions that I had made. And I think for a long time, I was very cognizant of the fact that, unfortunately for me, the way that I avoided that trauma, now that I'm older, it became consuming. And so I think that's where I kind of felt this, what's the word? Like this, oh, I don't know where I'm going, because I didn't recognize it as that.
Right.
So as I went through like this year, I'd say like in the last month, to be honest with you, I was like, okay, there are certain coping mechanisms that I've been using throughout my life after this event that are no longer serving me.
Mm.
And that could be like my anger towards people, the way that I react towards people, the way that I communicate, like on the phone. I don't know, the way that my eating habits and stuff like that. It affected a lot of my life. And so I think that's the most impactful thing that I learned. That it was kind of like I needed to let that go. And I think in a lot of ways I've mourned is a bit too dramatic of a word. I've had to die to that thing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I in the same way that it was like, you know how like when you mourn someone, you're grateful of the time that you spent with that person.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with that, with the coping mechanisms of like, well, do you know what? I'm grateful because you brought me to the point where I was able to, graduate from uni. I have really good friendships. I'm in a really good romantic relationship. I have a healthy family around me and so on and so forth. So you have brought me to this place, but for where I want to go, I can't take it.
It's not serving you anymore. Yeah.
It wasn't serving me. So it was sad because I was like, dang. But I think in this year I was kind of like in that transition.
Yeah.
And so it was hard because it's like I'm so used to doing these things and I'm not used to not having that.
Yeah.
And it
As
felt
like a
very
backup.
scary going to the other place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like I was saying this to Lavon last time. I don't know. I was saying to Lavon and I can't remember. It's like, have you ever seen like a dog or like some type of animal when they're like hurt?
I've never seen a dog.
You don't know anything. You don't know music. You don't know dogs. I work out.
What's a dog?
It's M.
How do you spell that?
It's Goofy. Goofy, honey. Okay.
Oh,
Goofy.
he's calling her Goofy.
But Goofy's cute. Everyone's Goofy. That was the whole thing. That was the whole time that everyone wanted to be Goofy, though.
Who?
Everyone wanted to be Goofy.
I'm Goofy. Like it was the whole like, I'm weird. Like
everyone,
okay, I'm weird. It was that thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a member of that community. Not the Goofy community, but yeah,
not the Goofy.
Not the Goofy. Just I'm quirky. I'm quirky. Disgusting.
Different.
No.
No, but yeah. So if you ever seen like a dog and it's like hurt, if you try to like touch that part of their body, they what's the word? Like they flinch and you can't touch
retaliate.
It. Yeah. So that's how I felt with those things. If anyone ever tried to like ask me about it, or if anyone wanted to inquire more about it, I was very protective over it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why this year took me a long time to like, okay, I've got to let these things go.
Yeah.
And in the last year I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm not alone. I have God. So I've removed this thing that I don't want to call it an idol because I wasn't worshipping it in any way, but I was putting my time towards it.
Yeah.
So I removed this thing and I replaced it with Jesus.
The Lord.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
That's a beautiful testimony, Jan.
Oh,
that was really beautiful,
Yes.
Janisha. Thank you for sharing. That was very, very hot.
thank you.
Is. That was so hard of you. Like that's what it gave.
That was so
when you said
hot.
that.
Oh my God.
It was so hot.
Do you know what it is? I was trying to find a way of saying it without being weird, but there was just no way.
There's no way.
No. So
It's either hot or hot. So, yeah.
it was very, very honest, open, and transparent.
It was.
No translucent.
That wasn't even transparent. That wasn't even translucent.
That was
transparent. That was
'Cause
transparent.
You shared,
You
girl.
did.
But
Yeah,
that
so
was
I would
really
say,
nice.
Honestly.
Yeah. That
And
is
like the
what I
fact that
think
you're
I've
able to
learned.
get there as
Yeah,
well.
it's
In like,
beautiful.
I think because we'd had this conversation of like, there was an Amanda Seales episode that she did with Jamila Jamil, and they were talking about these like different coping mechanisms that you have in response to like trauma and navigating your life after that. And in a way, it's almost like if you guys watched Inside Out, when there was that elephant thing and it was like, bye, say hello to Riley, and he got like left behind.
Oh,
yes, that's what it's like.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
what it's
that.
like. Oh,
yeah,
That's
so
a good
sort of,
illustration. Yeah.
oh, when he got left behind, because it's like obviously it's not the healthiest of things sometimes,
Yeah.
but
it's all you know.
But you're familiar.
Yeah, and you have to like forgive yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, actually, this person, this version of myself led me
Needed
to
that
today,
in
which
a way.
is this version
Exactly.
of myself where I've outgrown that. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful,
Yeah.
Jan.
Yeah.
That's
And I
really
think
beautiful.
I think for a long time I was in a place of like, I was very critical of that, of okay, I'm in these things. But I can't even say it's criticism, because criticism allows a solution.
Yeah.
It was just very, I don't know, accusatory, or like demeaning to that, of what I was doing. So I think at the end of this year, especially like within like the last 2 months, or since since I started my masters, because that's kind of what was like, I just do this normally. Because I think in my undergrad, for maybe it's because I'm not that passionate about it, I find something more passionate, these things won't happen again. So when it was happening in my postgrad and I was doing something that I want to pursue in my career, I was like, oh, this is the issue.
Sun's up.
We need to fix this. And so it was kind of, I was in a place of, I was grateful for where I had gotten, but I was just like, this is not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
But thank you. But bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. The girl getting on the talk.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Yeah, that's
Miss
really good. Chippo.
Very hot.
Very hot.
So hot.
Yes. Thank you, Janisha. For me, I think one of the most impactful things that I learned and kind of got to see play out in person was, there's this thing, I either read it or heard it, or maybe when you guys said it, I don't know where, I can't remember where it came from, but someone just said, like, if you feel scared about doing something, to just do it scared. And I think that
feel the fear
me.
and do it anyway. There is a book called that, you know.
Oh wow.
Is it?
Is there?
That's in my reading list, yeah.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Book.
But yeah, sorry.
So it's fine. So yeah, like the way I'm set up, I don't know, we don't know why we're set up in different ways, but I'm just such like a clinical overthinker, and I just worst case scenario myself out of like even the smallest things. I'd like think of like the worst way it could go, and then based on that, I'm like, why would I do that? Because this is gonna happen, when more time it's not, or whatever. And then so just learning and like see when you come to like force yourself to do even like small things, and then you've done it, and it's like, why didn't I just do it? Like, it's not that it's not that big of a deal, because I don't believe in like dismissing like how you feel about things. Like, that's okay, but I think you should like pay attention to that, and then despite that, you still owe yourself an attempt, I guess. So that's something that I learned this year, to just if you're scared of something, just do it scared,
just do
and
it
then see what happens. As long as it's safe, as long as it's not, you're not like,
don't jump out of a plane without a parachute.
Oh my
Thinking,
gosh,
well,
like the
I'm
Winter
scared
Wonderland
anyway.
rides. Have you been seeing it?
What is
No,
going
but
on with the
Guys,
Winter
about to
careful
go.
at
What's
Winter
wrong?
Wonderland. The rides are breaking. The rides are broken. Yeah. Yeah, as in like there was the, you know, the slingshot ride.
That's not the time to do that.
Yeah, it's really not the time.
It's not, Janisha, because we're all gonna laugh.
Not the time.
We're not laughing.
But you know the slingshot ride?
Don't tell me that someone fell out of it.
Bro,
and died or
it
something.
snapped on one end. So like they were hanging inside that cage box thing. I said, wow.
What do you
No one
even
died,
do?
right? No one died,
No,
right?
no one died. No one died. But,
praise
like,
God.
it's got like an
Still?
injury on their
So
neck or something.
scary.
Lawsuit.
Like,
They
you'd
need
be
to get
terrified
a
because it's about to
lawsuit.
shoot you up and it snapped. So there was that, and then there was another one where like I don't know what happened. There was
You know, I'd
something else.
pass out mid-air.
Guys, just be careful at Winter Wonderland,
out.
whether it be the one in Ireland, the one in London. Be careful.
Just be careful. I
Be
didn't know
careful.
that was
Be
on an
careful.
island. Oh wow.
Yeah, there was another
Yeah.
incident that happened at the Winter Wonderland, and then the slingshot was in London. So
Wow.
Careful,
Okay.
guys.
Be careful.
Be careful. Be
Sorry.
careful.
yeah,
yeah,
be wise, even though you're
So
scared.
be scared, but do it anyway. But obviously, don't compromise your safety or other
Your
people's
health.
safety,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or your health, or
Yeah.
your life.
or
you know.
like even on an emotional level too, I think you shouldn't like force yourself into things you're like maybe not ready for. Ultimately, you will like know, and you will like feel it,
Yeah.
and there's like processes, etc. I'm not saying to just plow through
Jump.
things prematurely, because
Yeah.
that could also
Be
be bad.
dangerous.
But as a general kind of thing.
I think that's a good
That's
one.
good.
And it's interesting that you say that, Chippo, like what you just said at the end, because I feel like there is a very, very fine line between like coming out of your comfort zone and actually doing something before it's time. So like, let's say, for example, when let's say you're trying to be more vulnerable or something, and you're trying to be more open, but you've experienced trauma with vulnerability before, it's like, I don't know, like it feels, obviously there's a level of you being uncomfortable for you to get to the other side of it that you have to experience, but also like you don't want to push yourself so far out that you like basically retreat back to like where you were before and what you're trying to come out of. So it's a really good it's a really good advice, sorry, and a good lesson as well, but I think it's difficult sometimes to navigate the balance of the two.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. That was amazing. Wow.
Wow.
The girlies are girly.
Hey.
The girl is a girly man. Nyari, we come to you.
She said it's my turn.
Yeah. I think for myself, I had to write it down a bit. I think one thing that I'd learned this year was that I had a very distorted perception of what self-care or what self-love meant going into the year. And so it relates to how I was perceiving the year, right? So obviously when we were seeing messaging about self-care or self-love, it was things that were pleasurable, things that were enjoying and like that entailed enjoyment. Like I said, I was coming in with the mentality of being the enjoyment captain, and I did that. I'm not gonna lie, I did that. I said, I'm going to enjoy. I did the things that I wanted to do. I met people that I wanted to meet. I was very consistent with meeting my friends up and down the country. Like I was on that train like no one's business. Train line was my best friend, right?
Wow.
And in all of that,
Sponsor.
Literally spawn me.
Oh, that was a good segue, Nyari. Today's video is sponsored.
Oh my way.
I honestly
One day,
wish,
guys.
One
day.
day we'll get there. We'll get there, man.
Jesus.
You know how? Sorry, it reminds me of Dylan. Yeah, the way he segues his sponsors. So he'll say something and he'll be like, "Oh, like the sound was so bad, it was barely audible." Thank you to Audible for sponsoring today's video.
He's
I feel like that's gonna be
it gets progressively like more obvious, and he plays into that so well. So it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah,
oh
we will.
My gosh.
So Trainline was sponsoring Nyari.
Basically, and like I was buying books like no one's business because I was like, I want to read because I enjoy reading, right? Yes. I was doing all of the things that I enjoyed. I was trying new things. I even went on the thingy in Cambridge. What do you call it?
Punting.
The punting.
Oh,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It was so much fun.
We still didn't do that, Jack.
Yeah, you guys still needed to do. I was like, because we were all going to go together, and I was like, I'm not waiting.
Yeah, now it's snowing.
Not
so
waiting.
We're definitely not doing that.
So went there, and I did a bunch of other things, tried a bunch of new things, experienced a bunch of new things. But in doing that self-care, there was parts of self-care that I neglected. So in terms of I guess it was discipline and also forgiveness and the healing aspect of self-care that I really, really neglected. So I thought I did, oh my gosh, I've done all of this emotional work. I've done all of this emotional healing, right? But then it came into 2022 and like my responses, I will look back now and I'll be like, yay, they were not good, in the sense that I took a very flighty approach to certain triggering things that had come up. So there were things that I thought I dealt with in the past, so certain traumas that had come up or were reinforced, or there was a new level added onto it. Like this shirt, it was literally like I had baseline trauma, but then somehow it got like deeper. I said, yeah, okay, my way. So when I was seeing those things, I was like, no, I'm not going to address it. I'm going to still have fun. I said to myself, I will have fun this year. I've become so accustomed to enjoying. I've become so accustomed to happiness. I've become so accustomed to joy. I will not go back into that place ever again. Right. And so I just kept ignoring it and dismissing it. But then it got to a certain point where I was just like, I need to address it. And because it is really addressing me right now. Do you know what I mean? Because there's only so many times you can distract yourself from the reality of what's going on and the things that are hurting you. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm fine. And I think that was a very natural disposition for myself in that me just being like, oh, I'm fine. I'll push through. It's whatever. And so these things were just catching up to me and things were happening. And I was like, what is going on? And because I'd been so flighty, I almost ended up in this place where I couldn't control things that were happening. And because I couldn't control things that were happening, I was struggling to like keep myself disciplined and things. So it was just like, I was just like, and so in all of that, I was like, okay, I really have to be disciplined with myself and forgiving of myself, that healing isn't linear. Sometimes the things that you think that you've dealt with, they can come back.
They can creep back up. Yeah.
Like
That's
prime example, we were watching some show earlier in the year, and like I literally was like, guys, I can't watch this anymore. I have to go. I can't. Do you know what I mean? And there were other like small triggers that were coming up, but I would be like, you know what, let me just leave. Let me just distract myself. But I had to face it a bit more and be like, okay, why is it still hurting?
why is it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like literally walking around, like I guess the wound analogy that Jan had, but it was almost a case of like, my leg is literally, it's being gouged. Do you know what I mean? The bone and the skin are out.
Walking.
The tendons are ripped. And I'm like, no, guys, let's still keep going. Let's keep going. So yeah, I learned a lot about self-care in that respect. And also, I guess relying on God in that respect, where I'm just like, this healing is still a process. It's still a process, and trusting God with that process of healing, and understanding that even though there will be bad days, there will also be good days, and not to be afraid of the bad days or as flighty with those bad days.
I think that's really good. And I feel
really
like
good.
What you said is, I think when people watch this, I think a good thing to take from what you've expressed, and I guess what I've expressed and what we're all going to express, is that healing is different. Because say like how I've expressed it is different, and how Nyari has expressed it is different. And so it's important that when you are healing from a trauma, that you don't compare yourself to others, and that you don't allow what you think healing is supposed to look like to be your compass. Because I think sometimes when you do that, not sometimes, when you do that, you end up in almost like, it's not a limbo, but like you just say like you were supposed to go to Timbuktu, you end up in Norway because you were ignoring yourself when your body was like, do you know what? I don't think that's the way for us. But you're set on like, okay, well, I saw Janice do this, I saw Nyai do this, I saw Lavon or Chippa do this. And so I think it's important that when you are taking your own healing process with whatever you're healing from, it's personal, and that you allow yourself time, and that you allow God to intervene as well, because it's, like I said, it's hard to give it away. So
literally. And I think as well, like another perspective that I'd seen was like, you know, when people are like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going in circles, because like you think that I've dealt with this thing, and it was the spiral analogy, rather than just you going in circles. It's like, no, but you're getting better and better and better at dealing with this. Do you know what I mean? And the way that I guess I view healing in regards to certain types of trauma is that it's not that you'll be like, not that I don't believe that you'll be healed, but it's just that
it's a continuous process.
It's a continuous process, and it'll keep going on probably till you pass away. Do you know what I mean? And
but something is always going to trigger you.
Do you know what I mean? Something is going to happen, because you're not going to forget like that. And you will, to a certain extent, navigate your life through trauma. It's just about the decisions that you make.
And I think you grow and you learn in that as well. Like in the sense of like, every time, you know, something resurfaces in some way, shape or form, I think from your previous experience with that thing, whatever it may be, I think there is something that this version of you now knows, has experienced, is able to do better than the previous version of you. So I think in a way it helps you see how far you've come, and you're like, oh my gosh, like like Lavon 2 years ago would have lost her mind over this, but Lavon today is very calm. I think it's like, obviously it's a sad thing, but it's I think it's a beautiful picture of the progress that comes with healing. And I think with that as well, we have to remember that progress, no matter how small it may seem, is still progress. Like there's this picture that I saw that was like different illustrations of like a cup being filled. filled, sorry, and it was like, this much is still progress, this much is still progress, this much is still
Oh, yeah.
progress. You know what I'm talking? Yeah, I don't think it
Yes,
was a
yeah,
cup,
yeah.
but it was just a picture
Something.
showing
Yes,
different
yeah. And it was
levels
like
of like
different
water.
heights.
It was
Yeah.
different heights, but it was
Yeah.
saying all of these things represent progress. They don't look the same, but they all represent progress and growth, which if you look at the bigger picture, they all need you to be the better version of yourself each year, each day, each moment. But obviously in the moment, it just feels like, oh,
It
like
doesn't
this
feel
is
like
too
that.
small. Why am I
Honestly.
seeing this again? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely agree with you.
And
Both,
sometimes, sorry to add another thing, and then we'll just
No,
move
of
on
course,
to the
of
next
course.
person, is that even in these things that resurface, you almost gain a different perspective. Because like you said, the you that's, I guess, experiencing the resurfacing of the trauma now is different to the you that saw the resurfacing a few months ago or maybe years ago. So you might look at the experience now and be like, oh, like I'm reacting differently, check, but it's triggered this part of me and I want to react like this. So you get to learn a bit more about yourself and your responses as I guess you see these things. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, like, don't put yourself in situations where you're getting triggered again. We're just saying that sometimes the trigger can come again unexpected.
Yeah.
We're not saying to put yourself in harm's way, guys.
No, please don't.
No.
Please don't.
Yeah.
But
that's
I agree.
the most impactful thing I've learned this year.
Okay. Like Janisha, I believe this was an amazing question. And like I was ringing.
Oh wait, I thought Chipper hadn't gone, but then I remembered Chipper's before me.
Oh, you were thinking Lavon, it's not your turn.
Now you're skipping over Chipper.
No, I didn't, Chipper. I mean, Chipper, unless you have something else to say. Maybe Mary has felt something in the spirit.
She said Chipper add.
She said Chipper add to it.
That would be rude.
You know when you're surrounded by, like, let's say like you're like in a prayer meeting or like you're in worship or something, right? And then like the Holy Spirit places it on someone's heart to like tell you to do something.
Nah, what?
Bro,
why are you
You see
attacking
that
me?
one there, yeah.
Leave me out of it.
It's giving that. So maybe Chipper, you should add. Like, do you have something to add?
Please, that one wasn't feeling spiritual.
I'm joking. It wasn't spiritual. It was giving Yari just didn't want me to speak.
And Yari said, not you.
Not you, Lavon. Hush, my child.
Hush, my child. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, no, I had so many things. Like there was so many things that I feel like I've learned this year, because I think this year it feels like it's been like just a very long year, but it's felt very seasonal. Like, you know how every season like is like it changes. I feel like this year I feel like I've experienced a lot of different seasons in my life, so it was difficult to pick one thing, but obviously for the sake of time I will just talk about one thing in particular that stood out to me. And I think what stood out to me, or what was like the most impactful lesson, was the realization that the big changes that like I was seeking after in my life, or the big results, or the big goals, or like the, you know, like the goals that, for example, I set in the beginning of the year, spiritual, financial, future me, and personal goals, all of those like big, you know, achievements, whatever it may be, sorry, the secret to that was hidden in the little things that I did every day, or the little things that I committed to every day. And I listened to this book earlier this year called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And one of the things that he says in that book is that your daily habits, basically, they don't, let me get it because I have a direct quote. It says that small habits don't add up, they compound. That's the power of atomic habits. Tiny changes, remarkable results. And I think this year I really, really like got to see how the small things that I do daily and consistently, rather than like the big thing that I'll do once a month, is really what sets me up for achieving like the greater things. So for example, if I use the example of like a goal that we all had was, you know, growing in our communication with God, just setting the goal of saying, okay, every day I'm gonna read like a one Bible verse, right? Or every day I'm gonna pray for at least 1 minute. If you can do that consistently for 30 days, it's much more like, it's going to be much more impactful for you long term than you just having a 12-hour prayer marathon once in the month. Do you know what I mean? And I think I noticed that in every area of my life. Like it's the little things, the smallest of things, the smallest of decisions that I was making would impact the way like my whole week transpired. If I decided that one day I'm gonna stay up instead of going to sleep early, it's impacting the whole of the next day. Do you know what I'm saying?
True.
And it just made me realize that like every choice like that you make in the day, like be intentional about that choice. Like when you're torn between, oh, should I, go for a walk, or should I just stay and watch another episode of Grey's Anatomy, for example, either choice that you're gonna make is adding to a picture, and it's adding to a bigger picture of either the version of yourself you're trying to be, the version of yourself God is calling you to be, or the version of yourself that you're trying to grow from, or you're trying to grow out of. So I think even tying it to what Janisha was saying about holding on to things that are no longer holding on to things that are no longer serving you in a season, like it's the little things that you do that kind of like lead you back to coming back into those cycles, or the little things that you do that will push you forward into coming out of those cycles, if that makes sense. So I think this year, like I really saw that in action, because I was just like, I was reaching a place of being frustrated about like, oh my gosh, like why am I not seeing changes? Like I'm not growing in this area, I'm not growing in that area. But I was like, but it's because I don't even have discipline in the small things. And it's like, if you don't have discipline in the tiny thing, you're not going to have discipline in the big thing. So one of the most impactful things that I learned really was that the secret to you like reaching the version of yourself that you're trying to be, the version of yourself that God has called you to be, the goals that you've set for yourself, is hidden in the small things, the small choices that you make every single day. So let every moment, every choice be intentional and be in alignment with who you're trying to be. And I saw this YouTuber, actually, I don't remember who it was, sorry, but she was basically talking about how, I think it was Jen, actually, yeah, it was Jen, one of my favorite YouTubers. She was talking about how when she set basically a goal at the beginning of the year, she had one main goal, and I'll say the example, the goal is like be intentional, right? And so every week when she was reflecting, not every week, so every day when she was making a to-do list, she would make a to-do list and write out what she's doing, but she would also make sure that her plans or her ideas or what she was doing, like the small things she was doing, were feeding into that main bigger picture of the goal of being intentional, if that makes sense. So in that, let's say if in your to-do list you've put, read Psalms chapter 1 verse 1, right? I'm being intentional about in my relationship with God. If you've put go on a 40-minute walk, I'm being intentional about my physical health. If you've put call one of my friends, I'm being intentional about building my relationships. So it's like every little thing that she was doing, it was part of the bigger picture. The main goal is intentionality, but it's the little things that were feeding into her being intentional. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's, I think, one of the most impactful things that I've learned this year.
That's good.
That's really good, babe.
That's very good. That's a lovely way to summarize that question. Okay, I have one more question before obviously we round off now. So obviously with all of us having spoken about our relationships with God, and even going into this new year, and because as you know, now we've shown that we all like to write down our goals and etc. How do you grapple between making plans and allowing for God's timing?
That's good.
Okay, this is an amazing question as well.
As we've established.
Grapple, I like that word.
Grapple, it's difficult.
It is.
It feels like a bit of a battle sometimes.
Yeah, it does. I think again, I'm gonna go back to the leaf thing. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a great analogy, Jack. If it's not broke,
don't be sorry.
Literally,
if it's not broke, why fix it?
I think, like I was saying, if like from the actual diary entry I had, I wrote like a letter to myself.
And letters to self, guys. Everyone needs to do that more often.
They're really deep.
They're really deep. Or do you know what? Yeah, I've been trying to get everyone to do a love letter to yourself. Listen, maybe it's
that's lovely as well.
I still haven't done that.
Yeah, Lavon, you should have.
No, I'm sorry. You did tell me a long time ago.
No, I'm joking. That's not very loving of me to do that. I was trying to be loving with honesty.
Be more loving. Be more loving.
Came out a bit brutal. We don't do brutal honesty.
I received it well. God, don't worry. No. I received it well.
But guys, do it. Anyway, back to your letter, Jan.
Yeah, but in my letter, I basically said like, I felt like a leaf
Yeah.
out of
Mm.
control,
Mhm.
but I wanted to be planted on the rock being God.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Someone, boy.
Come on.
Hey, I swear you mentioned Psalm 1.
I did.
Yeah.
Look at God. Look at God.
God. And so I
Look
feel very
at
angry today.
God.
I feel like a crab. But basically, I think in my efforts to find control,
Mm.
I was like, oh wait, hold up. I'm not in control. God is in control. Because I think
Mm.
I was trying so hard to, like I said before, get hold of that leaf flow and be like, no, okay, I'm going to direct it in the way that I want to, and things are going to be the way that I want to, and this is going to be how I everything was about how I wanted things to happen. And I think when I kind of let go of the idea of, okay, maybe I'm not in control, but I know who's in control, and I am in communication with this being that I believe that is in control of my life.
Amen.
That gave me peace. Because this idea that I could control everything that happened to me, because that's the thing, right? The issue is that when you go through something that takes away your control, that takes away your agency, for me, I was grappling for that thing. I was like, okay, I want this thing. I need this thing, because in these moments, I didn't feel like I had this. Yeah. And so
Makes
I think
sense.
makes a lot of sense.
Too much sense, if you ask me.
Too much sense. And so I think that's kind of why I came into 2022 thinking that way of like, okay, I need to be in control. I need to be in control of my actions. I need to be in control of how I react to things and blah, blah, blah. When that is the case, you should take responsibility for your actions. However, I'm not going to be in control of everything that happens to me.
No.
And so I think with the question of how I kind of had to grapple between making plans of God's timing was that God knows best, and you have to come to peace with that. Because even like I applied to one master. So the first masters I applied for was UCL, and I was so hell-bent on going there. I was like, yeah, I had made my like when you have a goal and you make your whole life plan, you're like, yeah man, like
This is what it's doing, what it's gonna do.
Like,
Yeah.
And when I get there, I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna
man.
walk into the lecture hall like this.
I'm gonna do this, blah blah
This is
blah.
what I'm gonna wear on my first day.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You do all of that, and then dun, your girl didn't get into that masters. Rejection. Exactly.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, and I felt like, dang, like, okay, this is something that I wanted to get into. This is something that it was like, oh, I needed to be in control of. And then I applied to essentially the same masters but at a different uni at King's College, and I got into that one. I applied to it really late, and mom was just like, just try it, you never know, you just see what happens. In my mind, I was so stuck on like, I didn't get into this one. I didn't get into the one that I wanted. So, what is that one? Like, still a good uni, but I was just like, oh my god, like,
you're clearly the second option.
You were not my choice.
Yeah, like no. And so I think, but now that I'm here, the people that I've met, the lectures that I've met, there was even one lecture that I really liked, one of his lectures, and he was literally at that other master's the year before, but he moved to this master's.
Stop
and
it.
so thank God, because it's like I would
have
have
never seen you.
You would have never seen
you. I would have never
it.
heard your lecture. I would have never interacted with you if I ended up in that uni. And so God just knows best, and you have to come to peace with that. But it's hard, especially if you've experienced something that feels like you did not have control. Which I think we all can relate to.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very
powerful.
good. And like, sorry, Chipo.
Sure.
Go ahead, babes.
We can remix the order if you want to talk first. I don't think
you could
matters.
go.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, that's, and I think like with your test, because it's a testimony, John. That's a testimony.
Wow, 2 for 2.
It is
A beautiful
it
one.
is Johnson.
Praise the Lord.
Lovon, get your piano.
That keyboard, hey.
But don't call me out
neglected,
because
Lavon.
is she even here?
Oh,
somewhere else.
Yari makes me laugh. You know? Yari's like, oh, it was like, is she even like,
I know,
I'm like,
but I need to get
"Ah."
her back. 2023, guys. 2023.
Amen.
Oh,
Amen.
you and I
because
with
I
my
liked
baby.
hearing you practice.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
know.
It was so
sweet.
It was
sweet.
That's
cute.
very
It was
sweet.
cute.
But now you're not. Anyway,
I know. Anyway,
just disappointing.
come back
I
to
feel
your
like it's
sick
sadder
away,
for
man.
Nyari than it is for
And
you.
Yeah, just
Like,
like
what have you done?
just like how Nyari remembered my story more than I did. You did the prayer one. Nyari, you're really in
Oh,
tune with my
she's
life.
an empath.
I'm an
She's
empath. I was about to say that.
You can feel it if you're sad. She takes it on. Oh my god, don't do that. Don't take from people's feelings.
And please, you
That's
have
not
your
healthy.
own.
You already have your
these guys
own.
would vomit on me. But I think like with Keisha, man.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
This
mean
is a
it.
public space. Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
But I think
Go
with
on.
what like Jan said, when I was
Mhm.
trying to like find Bible verses about, I guess, grappling between the two, is that obviously you make your plans. Like Jan said, she wanted to go to UCL, and then King's was obviously, it was given second born, right? It was given not as much love, but I love you out of necessity, right?
Second born.
You
This is
offended
not a
half the
reflection
population.
No,
of
this is not a
our
reflection of our actual lives.
parenting. No.
We're just talking about tropes.
When we are parents,
We're talking about tropes.
Middle child syndrome. Yeah.
And so there was a verse that basically like spoke about that.
Sorry.
And I guess I'll read out the AMP version, because AMP just gives you a better picture.
Hits different.
And so it says, the plans and reflections of the heart belong to man, but the wise answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So the right answer is from the Lord. So you can invest yourself into many different things. So like Janet done, Janet applied to these different things, and that's where her heart was, right? Her heart was, I want to study this specific masters, and my heart is in this area of work. This is what it is. And God gave her the answer. God was like, listen, you said you wanted this one, innit? But I'm giving you this one. But it's still the same vein of where you knew that God had placed you. So I guess the grapple comes in the place of obviously you doing the work, but also being attentive to what God's trying to do in your life, and being attentive to redirectioning, and being open to redirectioning as well from God. So like Jan was saying with the leaf blower analogy, you are the leaf, right? You don't really know where you want to go generally, but you know the general direction. And God's like, listen, I want you in here because I want you to meet these people. I want you to have this impact. I want you to have this conversation. I want you to have this interaction. And so you have to be open to that and be receiving of that experience as well.
And be willing.
Yes.
Be willing to be moved, to be willing to be
Definitely.
blown by the mighty leaf blower, which is the Lord. I think sometimes we are
sorry, don't know why that took me out.
and I knew Nyara was gonna
the mighty leaf blower that is the
Just
Lord.
imagine
That
a
is-
huge leaf blower.
It's
And
giving
all of us
autumn.
just-
No, it's just
Autumn
one
leaves.
leaf. A massive leaf blower for one leaf.
For one leaf, you know. But yeah, I think it's just
It was
allowing
giving leaf
yourself to
pasta.
be moved.
Oh gosh. Some people would have the
Honestly.
leaf blower.
Oh, well, it's
Well.
true. Sometimes illustrations help. Illustrations
Amen.
help.
They do.
I love
They do.
illustrations.
Me too, Chipper. Me too, Chipper.
She was like, well, I love that actually.
They're
I
very
actually-
gorgeous.
You
to
like
me.
it?
They're very gorgeous to me.
Like,
Oh,
Sorry, Lavon. Sorry.
but yeah, I was saying it's important sometimes that, you know, as much as with the example that Jan gave about feeling like a leaf being blown in the wind, I think sometimes when it comes to being led by God, like you have to like be willing to move and be moldable and be movable, if that makes sense, and be pushed to a different direction if the Lord wills. Obviously, don't be blown by the wind of the world and stuff, but if the Lord is leading you in a certain direction, I feel like sometimes it's difficult for us to reconcile that because we make our own plans and we have our own ideas of what our lives are supposed to look like. But I think like what really helps us genuinely have peace in what we're doing is being fully yielded and being fully surrendered to the Lord being in control, as Janisha said, rather than us being in control, because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. But he
We
does. So
don't.
we need
He
to let him be
always
in
does.
control.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, we do.
And I
indeed.
think when you remember like who like God is and what he's able of and like his track history and just like his resume in general, and then
Yeah.
when we try and take like full control of like our own lives and situations, it's like us just saying, oh, I can do your job better, God.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you can't. Like, I literally made the earth.
Yeah.
What have you done? So I think it's more of
Right.
just remembering
Who he is.
yeah, and then remembering like the joy that we kind of like get to collaborate with him in that we do our part, kind of sorry to go back to yours, Janisha, but like in your situation, you could have been like, yeah, I submit to like the
Yeah.
leaf blower. But if you hadn't have put in that application, if you hadn't have put in a backup application, you wouldn't have got that thing that God was like waiting to give
Waiting
you.
for you.
But it's
Yeah.
like, yes, he
So
can
true.
move mountains, but also we have like our place and our role to play,
Role to
and
play
he
in
will
that.
like multiply everything by 1,000, but we have to give him a number to multiply. Like otherwise it's like we've got to give him something to work with.
Yeah.
And even
it's true.
still, sometimes God has come through for me sometimes when I've literally been sitting in my bed, and it's like because he's just God and he'll do
He's
that.
just a
But
loving
I think
father.
there's
Yes.
yeah, but I think there's like kind of when we try to like apply ourselves and trust him and trust that whatever outcome there is, I think
Yeah.
even for our own like peace of mind in navigating, when we know that we have done our part and tried,
Yeah.
and then we know that we are trusting God, it's
Yeah.
easier to be at peace with whatever outcome comes.
Yeah.
Really true.
That's good, man.
Very
Oh my
true.
gosh, Chipper. I mean, not Chipper, but everyone. But just because of what Chipper was just saying about trusting God, a really interesting segue is that my verse for 2022 that I'd put down. Well, Nyari, I apologize if this ends up being your verse of the week. I hope it's not, but
God willing, it's not.
God willing, it's not. Proverbs. Are you in Proverbs?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, cool. So my verse, so I was going through my diary, and basically the verse that I'd put down for 2022, just because Chipper was talking about trusting in the Lord, it reminded me of that. But it's Proverbs 3 verse, and basically
Babe,
it says,
can you
Say
repeat
that again. Proverbs.
oh,
3.
sorry, Proverbs 3
Mm-hmm.
verse 5-6,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, trust in. We're reading the AMP because trust in
We're
and
amp
rely.
girls over here. We're
AMP
dramatic,
girls over
so we like
here.
the dramatic
We
translation.
like the drama. We need the extra words.
I love it.
But it says, trust in and rely confidently on the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways, know and acknowledge and recognize him, and he will make your path straight and smooth, in brackets, removing any obstacle that block your way. So I think like this verse is like it's so powerful in the sense of like it encapsulates what it means for us to genuinely walk in the will of God, because it's not our doing, but all our part really is to trust him and recognize that we are not God, like we are not in control, he's in control, and submitting to him, like submitting our will, submitting our desires, submitting our wants, our plans, whatever that may look like, because we know that his plan is always going to be greater. Like there is no story that we could ever write for our own lives that will beat the story that he's already written for us. So really all we can do is just trust in him.
Nice.
All we can do is trust in him. All we can do is rely on him, but relying confidently with all your heart. So with everything within you, like you have to trust and rely on God, and that his plans and his purpose will prevail, and they will make your path straight and smooth, even if things are difficult, even if things don't make sense. But God, I trust you. I rely on you because you will make my path smooth. So it's just interesting that we were talking about trusting in God and stuff, and that's the verse that I'd basically put as my verse of the year. But yeah,
Amen.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
Amen.
A lot of, I just hope that everyone that's listening to this, like you've been able to think and even answer the questions as well yourself. Maybe we could
Definitely.
post it on our Instagram, just questions.
That's a great idea.
Guys to reflect.
That's a great idea.
And I hope that you guys were blessed by this week's listening. We were definitely digging deep. We were being transparent this week. We were definitely being
Transparent.
transparent, and we hope that this allows you guys to also reflect and start working on your new year as well. And so that would be a segue into, I guess, the verse of the week, or what we
Definitely.
like to call it, the verse of the quarter, because of
the quartile, as Janisha said last time. I've never laughed so hard.
That was hilarious.
Verse of the quartile, and this was, you know, my expression. This was Janisha's expression. Verse of the quartile.
Verse of the quartile.
literally. So with that being said, and even as people are taking time to, I really, really do encourage everyone to, side note, just make a list, have something written down about what you want to achieve in this year. Do you know what I mean? Be open to the possibilities of what God could do in your life. Dream, think big, think as big as you can. Think about the different opportunities that you have around you. Just allow yourself to imagine and really, really go into what you want in your heart, and really submit that to God as you're writing things down. And even as you're doing that, there's this verse in Philippians. So Philippians 1 verse 6, and it says, being confident of this very thing, that he has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. So I'm praying that whatever you are writing down right now, or in this season, whatever good work God has started in you, or is starting in you, just know that he will complete it. Whatever God has set in your heart, God is going to complete that. Whatever missions or goals that you have, I pray in Jesus' name that they are obtained by the end of 2023. I pray that you achieve them. I pray that you grow, and I pray that you heal as well. So I'm really, really believing this for everyone that is listening, and even for ourselves in this new coming year as well. Just please, like, I know it's honestly, it's so hard right now in the cost of living crisis, even politically, everything that's going on. But I really, really do encourage you in the spirit to dream and to just believe that God can do the impossible in this new year. And even with that, hallelujah. And also the song of the week, or the quartile, as Jan said.
Song of the quartile.
Every time, man, it's gonna hit every time.
It's true.
Is, whilst we were talking about healing, we spent a considerable portion actually talking about healing. And the song that I want for this week, let me bring it up. Actually, I always forget the title. I wonder if anyone can guess what it is. Imagine
healing power comes from the blood. Oh, I love that song.
No,
if you got that song, I would have been so shocked, but in the best way.
No, but close though. Close.
What
though,
is it?
close
What is
though.
a clue? Give us a quick clue.
Give us a clue.
Where's
the artist from? America, South Africa?
Yeah, America.
No.
No. Tasha? Is it a Tasha song?
No.
Oh,
it's Israel.
Is it old Israel?
No.
It's new Israel.
I know. Is it the one with Doe?
Wait, no.
Oh,
how new? Like Road to Damascus new? Like with Adrian? Like
I'm talking Camp New Breed new.
Oh, okay.
As in the Worship Anywhere that was released in 2022.
How great.
Oh, okay, maybe I don't know it then,
how great.
It's so good. It's so good, guys. Listen to it.
Let it go.
I love that medley. Do you know what?
I think
like
Janisha just said it so that she could include
Sing
that
it.
song.
Yeah.
She didn't even think it at all.
It's the only one I know the name
song.
of.
Yeah,
everything else is just like, you know, when you listen to a song but you don't
know. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
and I get you. But we were talking about.
Do you tell?
The song is "Flow Like a River." Guys, listen to it. I'll send it to you guys. And one thing that they continue to say in the song is healing is flowing here right now, and that let it flow over your nation, let it flow over your community. So I'm praying that even as you guys are aspiring and you're dreaming and you're hoping for new things, I pray that there's also healing, and you're in a comfortable process of healing as well in this new year, that you continue to grow, that you continue to mature in all facets of your life, and may you see healing in all facets of your life as well.
Amen.
So that's what we're hoping for. We're wishing you guys all the best in the new year, and we're so grateful as well.
Yeah,
you guys
thank you
listening
guys
for season 2. This is the end. Yeah. We will see you guys at sometime.
Wow.
2023, definitely.
But yeah, 2023.
We're not gonna make promises. But
At some
2023.
point there.
Yeah. We have
Yeah,
a
if you
goal, but
said-
it's our business.
Oh,
Just like the finances.
Translucent.
it's
Our
translucent.
Translucent.
Yeah, so thank you guys for coming on the ride with us in
Thank you,
2023.
What a
Whoa,
ride.
2022, season 2.
Whoa,
What?
slow down. Oh my gosh, guys, you know what I just realized?
Wow.
We released season 1 in 2021,
2021.
season 2 in
Oh,
2022, season 3 in 2023. That's so
I love that
cute.
for us. That's amazing.
That's
I
very
love that
cute.
for
That
us.
is beautiful.
We'll
Thank you
have
so
to like
much.
if we do like a season 3 like at the beginning of the year, yeah, we'd have to do like 3A and 3B.
3A, 3B.
Do you know
Just so
what
we can
else
show it.
3A and 3B was elite? Yeah. So guys,
Teen Wolf.
3B is gonna
Parallels.
be
Come on, EDM. Transformers.
But
yeah,
yeah, guys, we hope
sorry.
that you guys have really enjoyed this season as we focused a lot on relationships and introspection. We did a lot of
Mhm.
learning, as you would
Yeah.
hear in our conversation. We even tried out some new things. This Zoom is brand new to us.
Yes.
Filming
that's
from
true.
different locations.
Mics.
Mics,
Mics.
headsets.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, imagine if we had a
Audio?
studio.
We
next time.
upgraded.
Oh my
Thank you,
gosh.
Jesus.
We upgraded.
We're dreaming, Lord.
Amen.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yeah, so we hope that you guys have enjoyed and we will see you again. But before we go, we're going to plug our socials. So that is
Of course.
the Redeemed Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Find us everywhere, all over the gaff. You know what I mean? We have great content. We're funny, guys. We're funny.
We are. Yes, you are.
And
funny
not,
and
we
we're
are
hot.
funny, ha, not funny weird.
No.
Ha.
Well,
Ha,
actually, no. Some
ha.
of them were a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Some of
Yeah,
them.
but
Yeah,
when
when the-
at the end,
When the
Yeah.
blooper episode come out, they might say we're funny
They might be
weird.
like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's funny, but
We
not
warned
funny,
you.
ha ha. Yeah.
But it
Ooh.
is still funny ha. It's just an abstract ha ha.
Oh, exactly.
That's true.
It's artistic.
It's quirky.
Ha ha
It's
question
quirky.
mark.
It's goofy.
It's goofy.
It's
Oh my gosh.
weird. It's so weird.
But yeah, guys, we're gonna love you and leave you, and we hope that you have a great initial few months of 2023. We're wishing you all the best. So
Yes.
bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Happy New Year. Woo! Sorry.
Happy New Year, guys.